We're here at the Levita Brown Environmental Park, and this is where all the garbage goes from Alachua County, where we live, to be transferred to the landfill where it's going to get disposed of. The building behind me is the actual tipping floor or the transfer station, and this is where the garbage trucks will actually come in. They'll drive up the hill and dump their load onto the floor, where it's transferred by a front end loader into a giant pit in the floor, and that goes into our trucks, which we use to ship that to the actual landfill. Each person on average makes about 5 pounds of garbage per day. So in any given day, about 500 to 700 tons of garbage comes through this facility. One of the things that when you actually get looking at this garbage, you can see there's a lot of things that can be recycled in it. A lot of cardboard, even a lot of aluminum cans, bottles, plastic. A lot of that stuff could have been recycled. Unfortunately, because of the way the legislation is, once something hits this floor, it actually becomes municipal solid waste at that point, and we can't touch it. Since you can't actually throw away all the garbage into a landfill, we do collect other garbage for recycling and to keep toxic things out of the landfill. And this is where we collect all of our tires, which comes from auto tires, small ones, to giant tractor tires. Also, we collect here is scrap metal. Metal is one of the easiest things to recycle, so we want to keep that stuff out of the waste stream as well, because it is still quite usable. If you look at the resource aspect of recycling, it is quite important. All plastics are made from oil, or the vast majority of plastics come from oil. And so at some point, we're not going to have that much oil anymore to be making plastic. So if we recover that resource, it's a big deal. Aluminum is one of the best things to recycle, because it's so environmentally detrimental to local areas to mine the bauxite where aluminum comes from. And so by recycling aluminum, we don't have to pull any more out of the ground, which is a very nasty process, actually. Some of the bauxite mines around the world are some of the most polluted places on the planet. So where we are right now is actually underneath the tipping floor, and this is where our trucks come in and they get loaded up. And there we have a couple cranes up top that actually will scoot the garbage into the truck and even out the load so it's not unbalanced. Once they're filled up to about 35 to 40,000 pounds, they head out and go to New River and dump the trash. And that's how it works.
Welcome to New River Regional Landfill. We're servicing the largest geographic area in the state of Florida. Once the waste comes here, it's got to be completely managed. If it's mismanaged, it can create some health issues and can be a real environmental threat. For hundreds of years, people disposed of their waste. They just threw it in open lands. They threw it in the woods. They threw it in streams. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know why, they were just out of sight, out of mind. What we have underneath the solid waste here is a double liner system. It's a leachate collection. The leachate is by gravity flows into these ponds. From here, it's piped directly to Florida State Prison wastewater treatment plant. And so no time is the leachate not being completely managed on this site. At approximately 50 feet in elevation is where the trucks come in. It's going to be about 85 feet in height when it's all over with. Once you reach a permitted height, then by regulations you're required to cap it to keep any rainfall from additional leachate being generated. And when you do that, it's a term called dry tombing of waste. When you dry tomb waste, it slows down the biological process. It may take years, it may take hundreds of years before the stuff breaks down. There's been landfills in Florida that have been dug up, and they found a newspaper that's you can still read it after 75 years. Modern households today, this has things that we refer to as household hazardous waste. We have cleaners, we have aerosols of different types. So the type of waste that we generate today is even more of a threat to the environment. Plus, there's more people.
So we're here now at the hazardous waste collection facility, and this is where we actually pull off all the dangerous stuff that we really don't want getting to a landfill. So that's stuff like mixed fuels, oils, used motor oil, any kind of aerosol cans, rechargeable batteries. Most of your rechargeable batteries have heavy metals in them. You don't want heavy metals getting to the landfill because they can get into groundwater afterward. But any kind of like alkaline batteries can actually just be thrown away and put in the landfill because they're not toxic at all anymore. One of the things we do collect here is fluorescent bulbs. These do contain a tiny amount of vaporized mercury, so we don't want these getting crushed and put in something, getting into the air. Mercury can be pretty nasty. And it's just like that. We'll do one more. One of the things that's come real important recently is recycling of electronics. One of the main things is why they don't want these in the landfills. They do contain lead. And so you're just keeping heavy metals out of the groundwater is the end result of this too. So.
We're a very wasteful society. First of all, we require a lot of packaging that all winds up at the landfills. And then also we buy products that are disposable. It's cheaper to go buy another one than to fix the one that you already have. What can we do to limit the amount of waste that comes into the landfill? The primary thing you can do in your household is to recycle more. Be conscious of it.
There's not one easy answer. It's kind of everybody has to do their part in order to make less garbage, from the manufacturer on down to the consumer.